to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Vanessa Fuller.
I'm excited for today's guest. She is a dancer, a choreographer, the artistic director, originally from Eugene, Oregon. She's the artistic director of Xcape Dance Company, where she produced 10 full-length shows. Her dance and choreography has graced the stages of shows like Club Jeté in LA and concerts in New York to California, working with artists like E-40, Twista, The Game, Thugz-N-Harmony, Xeon I, E.T. She's also worked on industrial projects for Napa Auto Parts, Build San Francisco, Quest Events Center in Seattle, Rockstar Energy Drink. She is a winning contestant on CBS's Let's Make a Deal and Wayne Brady's most recently. She's also on this season, appearing this week on season 1 of HBO Max's new show, Second Chance Stage. She's also filmed a casting pilot on MTV's Made, an original regional commercial and print ads for University of Oregon. And she's received numerous awards and competitions, including winning the JIGTV Brian Friedman Video Choreography Critique Contest. She was a dancer in the Emmy-nominated production of Dance Ability. She's also got a training background in various genres, from hip-hop to jazz funk and contemporary. She's trained at all the hot studios in LA, like The Edge, Millennium, a dance mission in San Francisco, Monsters of Hip Hop. And she is a dance major at San Francisco State University, University of Oregon, and Lane Community College. She holds a BFA in Spanish with a minor in business. Without further ado, and she is tuning in from Mexico today. Please give it up for Vanessa Fuller. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Greetings. We were just talking about how jealous I am of her wearing shorts right now. You probably can't see, but tell us where you are, at a little island somewhere off of Cancun.
Yes, it's called Isla Mujeres, Island of Women.
I love it. Isla de Mujeres. I love that. Thank you for taking the time, first of all, to being with us while you're on vacation with your family. It's been a very exciting week for you as well. For those that have not seen it yet, she had an incredible segment on the new HBO show, Second Chance Stage. Remember I saying that?
Yes.
It's a brand new show. And I'd love for you to, I want to dive right into that particular show, because that's the highlight of what's going on with you right now. And just out of curiosity, because I don't have the network, so I haven't been able to see the full segment. Have anybody seen the show yet? Anybody have access to the show yet? All right. If you don't have access to it, you definitely have to check it out, because this is like a huge, potentially like new show that's on the scale of, to me, like America's Got Talent. Can you tell us a little bit about the show, a little bit about who the judges are, the hosts, and the people that are involved? And then we'll go into your solo in a moment.
Yeah. So the show is same producers as American Idol, Dancing with the Stars, same type of concept as America's Got Talent, except it is people who are 30 and over who have a dream or a passion that they want to pursue, but something happens, some type of obstacle in their life that kind of put them on a different path. And they are coming back to that path for a second chance to bring their talent forward for everybody to see. So that's the premise of the show. It was hosted by Emmanuel Acho, who has an amazing podcast, and he's a former NFL athlete. Tay Diggs, who of course was in the original cast of Rent, a phenomenal dancer and performer and actor. Heidi Gardner from Saturday Night Live, and Martina McBride, who's like a 6-time Grammy winner country music star. So those were the judges. There were, out of 1,000 people who applied and narrowed it down, there were 30 of us that they broke into 6 different episodes. And each episode, we got to tell our story, talk about ourselves, why we're here, our journey with whatever we do. Some of us dance. There was like musicians, comedians, people who play instruments, all different types on the show. So we really got to do a deep dive into what we do and who we are and where we've been and where we want to go on top of showing our talent.
That's amazing. I love that there's a show for 30 and over, because I remember So You Think You Can Dance, I think their limit still is like 29 or something. So for a more mature dancer, they don't have an opportunity to get on, a show like that. So to now highlight the more mature performers that clearly had some kind of obstacle in their life that prevented them from being able to pursue their passions to the full extent, now get that second chance. Going back to you and kind of your story and how you even got on this show, can you backtrack a little bit? And normally I could start at the beginning, but I'm just curious to know, now that you are, I don't know if the right word is mature, but you're not a teen. But I don't want to say old, because I don't think you're old at all. Just a more mature, seasoned dancer. What happened in your journey where you weren't able to achieve the success that you wanted, and where you are now with that?
Yeah. So I got married really young. I got married in my early 20s, 22, 23. And I had kids when I was really young, before 25. And so that's prime time for a dancer, especially after being in college and being in a dance program, having a degree. And I did spend some time living down in LA, even with kids, and touring the country and doing things like that. But it's not ideal when you have 2 small children. And dance it's full time. It's full time on your body, full time on your mind. So I ended up opening up a dance studio that I've had for the last 10 years. This is the 11th year, and I've invested all of my time and energy into it. And that's what I have been doing. On the side, I've had opportunities to do music videos and commercials and smaller things like that, and travel and teach on convention and things. But my home base until recently has really been in Eugene. And I am a person that has been like always submitting, always going to meet people, always keeping myself out there. I'm really good at relationship and staying connected to people. And so this opportunity came to me from a casting director that I started contacting almost 10 years ago. Over and over every year. Yeah. And when it booked, she was like, I am so happy to finally be able to book you on something. But for me, having kids, I'm always going to stay connected to dance, but I have to have the stability. So having a studio was what created that stability for me. But the sacrifice was I didn't get to pursue dance in that I'm going to LA with $100 in my pocket type of dream. And it's interesting too, because I have a lot of friends that live down there, a lot of people who are really super successful. And it's one of those things where you always want what you don't have. Although I didn't have that experience, I have stability. I own a home. I own my cars. I have a family, and I can still do these things. It just took a lot longer. Whereas in that LA lifestyle, the New York lifestyle, it's like that stability is really harder to grab onto.
So the order of operations just flipped for the average dancer in their young 20s are traveling and living the gypsy life and gig to gig. And you were starting a family, which, is a beautiful thing. But it sounds like there was a part of you that didn't get to reach your fullest potential in those prime years. And then you just decided, when this opportunity came out, it was like, this is it. This is my chance to actually be seen in the way that I want to be seen. And, take advantage of that is huge. I think, because I haven't seen the show. Were you one of many dancers, or were there multiple? Were you the only soloist, or what was the talent pool?
Yeah, there was only 4 of us that danced. Okay. And we were all completely different genres. Okay. And all the dancers, actually, there was a dance group that did step dance, but they were like 5 or 6 of them. So out of the whole show, 5 people did dance.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's huge. Now, how do your kids feel about seeing mommy on TV?
That's the thing is, so my daughter is a competitive dancer since she was 4.
Okay.
And she's very, very, very serious. And I still own a studio. So I have all these like interesting perspectives. I had just had my daughter. I was living in Denver and I went to Hollywood Vibe. Like, and I had 2 kids at the time, but I was holding her like in a baby pouch and I decided to take class. And I know it was wild. It was wild. And she was strapped to me and then she ended up falling asleep. And I went and I got pulled on stage with Kevin Maher, which was like a dream come true. I was like in my 20s. And I had a conversation with Liz Imperio afterwards. And I was telling her that I had a lot of like guilt about being a mom and really wanting to pursue dance and also feeling like I was missing out. And what should I do? Because I still have this talent clearly, but I have kids. And she had said to me, the greatest gift you can give to your kids is to have them watch you follow your dreams. And it was around that time that I ended up shifting my life. And I'm so glad that I did because my kids are 12 and 14 now, and they are so powerful and so motivated and so great at everything that they do and just focused. So I think for them, it's inspirational and it's like a window, a key that they can do that too with whatever they choose to do. So I'm really happy that they've gotten to see it and then to see it culminate in this way. I don't really think I could. It's like a blessing. You can't really had to go through it to be able to teach it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no. And I think that was great advice from Liz. Ironically, we just had Liz on last week. So funny timing.
Love Liz.
Yeah, I love her as well. She was an inspiration to me when I was a teen convention kid as well. But no, that is true because I actually feel the same way as well with my own children because I have 3 kids that are similar in age. And I think there's no greater gift than to show them you following your dreams so that they see that as an example and as a role model. Because I think oftentimes society makes it challenging, or I don't know societal pressures or what it is, but it seems like there's a part of a lot of women, especially that dies with becoming a mother. And then suddenly they live vicariously through their children and forget about their own aspirations, their own dreams. But I think being able to pursue your own and see mommy gets to do what she loves is a huge inspiration for them because then it gives them the encouragement of like, well, if my mommy can do it, I can do it too. So that's super cool that your kids are at least old enough to, be aware of what you've done and to be able to witness that. Because if they were like 2 or 3, they probably wouldn't understand what was going on. So tell us about your experience on the show. Like, when was this taped? How long was your involvement? Any cool experiences behind the scenes that you're allowed to share now that the show's aired?
Yeah, it was really fast. I think I actually was here in Mexico when I found out that I booked it.
Oh, fun.
And which is part of the reason I came back because I'm like celebrating.
Yay.
But I think from applying to filming, it was like a 3-month process for me. I know for other people, it was a bit longer. It filmed over the course of a week in Kansas City in a really historic theater. And it all was just really fast. I had to come up with a solo and then they had to change the music on me because of music licensing. And that was,
yes.
and the way they did it was you didn't really know till last minute. So I didn't know necessarily when I was leaving to fly out. I didn't necessarily know when my family was going to get to fly out. I didn't really know how long I was going to get to stay. And then afterwards, we didn't know when it was going to air. So it was all just a whirlwind. But being there, I don't think I could have asked for a better experience in not only a group of people and who was producing it and all of the talent, but just like the way I was treated. So
That's
it
nice.
was just, everything. You hear all these stories, right, in the industry. I've had experiences, people do things that are not great, but this was like from start to finish was pleasant and enjoyable. And I felt supported and encouraged the whole time. So it was really magical.
That's so cool. Now, any cool opportunities come out of it? Any new relationships that has led to anything cool coming up? Did this open any doors for you?
So it just came out and I wasn't allowed to talk about it or do anything with it until Thursday of this week.
Gotcha. Okay. So like, the cat's out of the bag. You can finally talk about it.
Yeah, they were very strict. We didn't have any material. We couldn't share any videos or anything like that. So it hasn't even really been a week yet. It's been a few days. So right now I'm like in the whirlwind of experiencing all of it. But I
Right.
did meet some really cool people, some really great. I connected with the dancers, some other people from the West Coast. And of course, keeping in touch like on Instagram and things like that. Everybody had such a powerful story that was a part of it. It was really inspiring just to be there and to go back and watch it. And it made me cry.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure these type of shows make me cry like a baby, because they give you all the feels. And no, I can't wait to be able to see the full episode. I don't get HBO Max, so I got to figure out a way to watch it myself. It sounds like a really cool production to be a part of. Now, is there, beyond the taping that you did with this particular show, is there any additional involvement with the show, or was it like a one and done opportunity and now you're on your own? Or is there talks about doing anything in the future together? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, as far as I know right now, it was just a one and done opportunity. Like I said, there was like a very extensive like interview portion of it that is in the show that was filmed actually before we did the talent portion of it. But besides that, and I don't even know if there's going to be, what's going to happen if there's going to be a second season. I don't really know. Like I said, it's still unfolding and it hasn't gotten to the finale yet. And we didn't know necessarily who else was there. Like it was very
secret. Top secret.
Very top secret. Yeah.
That's funny. What would you like to see happen? You just appeared on national television. Your story was shared. Is there any future goals or aspirations that you have now moving forward?
I think one thing that I did a lot differently than everyone else is I have a good social media presence because I own a business and I understand how important business is, which is like why I'm so excited to be here on this podcast, because there are a million trillion of us out here trying to do exactly what I'm doing, exactly what everybody else is doing. But like tapping into your uniqueness and your authenticity and making that translate not only into your performance, but into the business aspect of what you're doing is super, super important to be able to have longevity and to be able to have stability in this career. And so as soon as I got back from filming, I got on my social media hard, posting 3 times a day. I started a reality show with my studio that's now in its 3rd season. I hired people to come in and film. We release an episode every week. I started a podcast where I talk to people about just like success in general. And I really upped my presence in different aspects. I started a clothing line too of costumes and dance wear specifically for hip hop and dance styles that are basically based in African styles of movement. And so I took the brand that I had with the studio and myself and built it into this thing so that when this would air, we would have this whole kind of, I don't want to use that word empire, but like a support for it to like, there's many things happening. And so that was something really unique that I did because I have a very strong business mind. And that is what the timing that the universe gives you is just so perfect, because I would not have been able to do that with this opportunity had I had it in my 20s. But now, because I had all this business experience, owning a dance studio for 11 years, keeping it open and keeping it thriving is like it's a big feat, especially now through COVID and everything. I've been able to really utilize that opportunity. So I have seen some of these other businesses and my own studio at home grow with everything because I've taken this opportunity and putting it into all these other areas, if that makes sense.
That's very smart of you. Congrats. One of the dancers already asked in the chat, what's your clothing brand? Where can people find it?
Xcape Dancewear with an X, Xcape. Yeah.
And is there a website or a social media play? Where can we find it?
Xcapedancewear.com.
Easy. Beautiful. Yeah. I love that. I love that you were very entrepreneurial about this too and understand the value of personal branding. I'd love to switch gears a little bit because you talk about business. Any words of advice when it comes to the business of dance that you have learned over the years through owning a studio and a dance clothing brand and all these business ventures that you've had that you wish that you knew when you were younger, that you could give some advice to these kids that are coming?
Yeah. I had a dance studio before that failed, actually, that I opened when I was like 23. And I ended up having to close it. It was a huge disaster. And when I opened up this studio that I have now that's been really successful, I had to really sit with myself and say, like, why did my first business adventure not do well? And I decided that at that time in my life, when I opened a studio, I was like trying to do what everybody else was doing. I'm all looking at all the schedules of other classes, other studios, looking at how everybody else did everything. And I tried to mirror that because I was like, obviously I want to make money. I want it to be good. And this is what's working for these people. And so I just tried to do that. And it was just, there was opposition all the time. And so when I opened this studio, my one goal was to create a place where I felt like I was being authentic all the time. Like from the way I write my emails, the type of classes I have on the schedule. I'm not a ballet dancer. I have ballet, but I don't teach it. Like I don't market that way. From the voice that goes out into the marketing to the way the clothing looks, I decided that everything has to come from the voice that is me. And that's going to be my superpower. And it has worked. And so my biggest piece of advice, because it's the same in an audition, the only thing you have that everybody else doesn't have is who you are, your authenticity. Everybody in there is going to be talented. Anybody can pick up choreography, but are they you? That's what you have. So that would be my biggest piece of advice across the board, is to just really work on who you are and what you want to say and how you want to make people feel, and like really put that forward and get really good at that.
I love that. I speak to that. I've spoken to that before, as that there's no other you on the planet. And that's what makes you unique. And you're absolutely right. There's a dime a dozen talented dancers that can kickball change, twirl, flip, all the things, look gorgeous, have amazing bodies. But what makes you stand out is you, and being authentically you, and running a business that's authentic to you, and building a personal brand that is authentic to you was the secret to your success. And I think that's a great learning lesson. So dancers, take that to heart. All of you are unique and talented in your own right, but no one's a carbon copy of the other. Even twins. We have twins in this program. Nobody is the same. Everyone is unique. Everyone has something special to offer. So rather than trying to copy and be like the person next to you, dress like them, look like them, dance like them, being authentic to you, who you are, is really truly where the magic happens and where you can stand out. And when you really step into that authenticity, that is where the magic happens, I think. When you try to fit in a mold that doesn't, like, it's like a square trying to fit in a circle. Like, it just doesn't work.
100%. And it's hard too, because when you're rigorously training, and especially in technical styles, we're taught there's one way to do it, which there is. And we're really like looking for that uniformity in some of these like parts of dance. But then when you get into the real world of it, the working world of it, it's the opposite. People want to see like you. And if your focus is really like on all this like rigid stuff, it's really hard to put that forward. And so when I teach, even my students, I always say that it's like the artistry part first and the energy part first. Like I want to teach my students like how to really find that voice that they have, because I really do think anybody can dance with enough work. Hard work is always number one, but can you show me who you are in whatever steps you're given?
Yeah, no, there's some truth to that, because there is some uniformity that is required, and there's a time and place for it. Yes, if you're a Rockette, everybody is to a T. The leg has to be this certain angle. The head there's no room for individuality in certain scenarios. But yes, when you do go into an audition room, you do have to separate yourself from the rest of the pack in order to stand out. Because if you look like everybody else, dress like everybody else, then you just blend in, and it's just hard to get noticed. I love that. Now, looking back at your life, you're not old, but looking back, what is one of the greatest lessons that you have realized? Maybe has it come from even this experience on this show? Have you had this epiphany? Was there like an aha moment? Any great learning lessons from your dance career and the unorthodox journey that you've been on?
Yeah, I think another thing is that relationships are so important. Like I booked this because of this person that I kept in touch with and kept communicating with over and over the course of 10 years, a really long time. And she remembered that and she respected it. And so when it came time for her to pitch me to the producers, she was not only excited, but she believed in me because of my perseverance and because of what she had seen from me. And then even being on the show, like watching the crew work, the crew had also worked on Dancing with the Stars. They were all together. These people all moved together. They have a relationship. And then building a relationship on set with those people is really important in the process. And I think you always hear that, like it's who you know, but it really is who you know. And it became very apparent when this opportunity came forward, because I could also see the network of people working behind the scenes and how well they were connected as well. And just the level of respect everybody had for each other and how kind everybody was because they had that rapport. So I would say that was something that I'd always heard and always knew, but then to like really feel that and then be a part of that and experience like a booking because of that type of connection is definitely really, really important. It was a really good thing.
I agree 100%. We preach that all the time. I like to say contacts equals contracts, because this industry is all about who you know. I mean, imagine, I'm sure there was a dancer that probably submitted at the time of the submissions and the casting director had no clue who they are. But then here comes Vanessa and it's like, oh, yeah, I've been chatting with you for 10 years. So there was a relationship built. So I think it's a great reminder for even the dancers listening that relationships take time to build. It's not something like, okay, we're just going to be friends today. I'm going to send you a message on social media and we're just going to work together tomorrow. Like it doesn't, there's an investment. You have to keep depositing coins, if you will, into that relationship. And then eventually, like a piggy bank, eventually it will accumulate and pay off. But you never know when that payoff is going to come. Sometimes it could be weeks, months, and in your case, years. I'm sure nobody's thinking, oh, I'm going to befriend somebody and 10 years from now, there's going to be something fruitful come out of it. Nobody thinks that way. So going into every relationship with that knowing of nothing may come of it or something might come of it, but it may take a long time before it actually happens. But the fact that you were persistent obviously showed this casting director that, okay, she hasn't quit. She's still going.
Yeah.
She's still pushing forward. I could see why you were casted for this because, you've been, it hasn't been because you haven't been trying. You've been trying. And now it's just the right timing, the right alignment, everything.
And I would say that's a big thing too, because we want things to happen quickly with the way social media is and everything. And we know, because I know you have a very extensive professional dance career, like it takes a lot. It takes years of training and years of study and years of trying, but don't judge the timing of your life either. Things happen when they're meant to happen. And if you let go of how much time it is or isn't taking or how it's going or what somebody else has and what you don't and where you think you're supposed to be, like you start to enjoy what you're doing. You enjoy the journey. I think it's really important to keep yourself in a place where you still enjoy dance and you can still be passionate about it, because it does become a grind sometimes. And it's also a relationship that you have to nurture, like with dance. And if you get caught up in how long it's taking and fill it with that stress, it becomes not fun. And if it's not fun, you just don't look good doing it, No,
it's very true. It's very true. I think a lot of people put deadlines with their dance careers. I hear of a lot of kids that graduate high school or graduate college, and then they try to go do the audition thing. And then within 6 months, they like give up. They're like, oh, this is too hard. I haven't booked a job yet. I'm broke. I'm just going to go back home and go get a real job, quote unquote. And they give up on their dreams because it doesn't happen fast enough. And this industry is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you're absolutely right. You never know when you're going to get that break. And it usually never happens when you want it to or expect it to. So that's the other lesson that I have learned as well, is there's some things I wanted so badly that never happened. And then things that I didn't even see coming, just poof. And I'm like, oh, I prepared my whole life for a moment like this. And you didn't even see it coming. So it's a lot of unexpected twists and turns when it comes to being in the dance world. I love that.
Like a goal. Like I think more than just like having a certain thing, I think I got to a place where I was like, I just want dance to be a part of my life always. And then that became more of like an open door rather than a push all the time.
Right. It was an opportunity that you were like, okay, cool. I'm going to seize it.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily part of your plan. I'm sure you weren't thinking 5 years ago, I'm going to be on a national TV show with the producing team of American Idol and Dance with the Stars. That it probably wasn't even on your vision board or your goal setting. It was just an opportunity that presented itself. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Let's go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that for you. I would love to give our Business of Dance mentees an opportunity to chat with you as well. All right. So, Marie,
Hi, I'm Amory. I'm from Texas and I'm 16 years old. I just wanted to know, do you plan on, so I know how you said this is the random opportunity that found you. Do you plan on auditioning again ever in the future or keep looking for opportunities?
That's a great question. I would say absolutely. Yes. And I never really stopped auditioning or looking for opportunities. I just I diversified. So like sometimes a print ad will come to me or a local commercial or a behind the scenes project. I do a lot of stage managing and things like that. I'm a performer. I don't think that part of me is ever going to die. And I'm excited by it. And as long as I'm excited and inspired by doing it, I will keep pursuing it. So for now, I say yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we have Raina.
Hi, I'm Raina Shank. I live in New Hampshire. I wanted to ask you, what made you want to start the reality TV show for your dance studio?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Part of it was straight up marketing because on the show that I was on HBO, I had the opportunity to talk about what I do on a day-to-day basis and how I impact my community and my family and my kids who also dance. And so my business brain thought, okay, if I'm going to open a little piece of this story up and people are interested in that story, then I should provide an opportunity for people to see that story even more. And so that's why I did it. The kids love it. The students and the families actually really love it. They're a part of it. They do interviews. They feel like they're on a TV show. So I did it for the community aspect, but I also did it because it was a smart business choice.
Where can we watch it? It's on
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Thank
remind
you.
us the name of the show.
It's called Extra with an X. So the Xcape with an X is like our whole brand. So the show's called
X is a common theme here.
Yeah.
So does that mean you need to go on the X Factor next?
Oh my God.
Since X is a part of your theme of your life.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much, Raina, for your question. Next up, we have Summer. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, I'm Summer Salos. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Maryland, but I'm currently studying for my BFA in dance in Pennsylvania. So I was just curious if you have any tips and tricks for people who are currently like out of the area where they would like to be, meaning like LA for the dance industry, but want to continue keeping up their connections and like fostering those communities without being actually there.
That is a really, really great question. And I have done that for the last 20 years. One thing you can do, especially now, is you can get on Instagram or on YouTube and take people's classes for free online and post yourself doing them. Sometimes the choreographers will give you feedback, and that's a good way to connect with them. And it's a good way to keep in touch with the style that is happening in each of these cities that you may want to be in. I'm not sure which ones. I do try to go down to LA monthly if I can and take classes and just connect with people. I just went and watched like the Movement Lifestyle show. So that's a really good thing to do, is to try to get in. I know it's not financially easy for everyone to do that, but if you want it bad enough, show up. And I think convention is a really good thing to do because you'll often meet a lot of choreographers that are in these places where you might want to be. And then you have the opportunity at those events to really like to shake people's hand and connect with them and introduce yourself. And if you do that more than once, like in the instance where I met Liz has counseled me at my studio and she got to meet my daughter who got a scholarship through Liz this last year. So it's like building those connections with people when they come to your town, knowing that you could possibly see them in one of these bigger places is also a really good idea. And you can still contact and submit to agencies from where you're at, especially now after COVID. A lot of agencies are doing things remotely. They have an online submission process, and same with auditions. If you're not on Casting Network or Backstage, those are really good ways to stay in touch with what's going on and what's casting. And you can do that stuff from anywhere.
Great advice.
Thank you so much.
So make quick trips to the city that you want to be in if you can. Take online classes from people that you want to work with. Anytime they're in town, definitely meet them in person and connect with them. But yeah, that's really cool that you've been able to sustain those relationships, not physically being in those big cities on a permanent basis. I've done the same thing, to be quite honest. Some people, I lived in Vancouver since 2016, and some people didn't even realize I was living.
Wow. I didn't realize you had been there for that long.
There you go. Because I established my business in California. So I kept it there. My phone number's still there. And so I'm like toe dipping where I still have like business affairs and I have my own property in LA. There's still a lot of part of me that's still there, but I live in Vancouver and I raised my family in Vancouver. But I'm always traveling. That's the other thing too. I was in 3 countries and 4 cities in the last couple of weeks. So that's why people can't figure out like, where do you live?
Yeah.
All my photos and videos are never from Vancouver. I'm always in these other places. So they're like, where are you? And then people that see me in Vancouver, like, you're here? I just thought you were in Dominican or Miami or where you were. I just saw photos of you posting. I'm like, yeah, that was from like 2 weeks ago. I'm a little late on posting. So yeah, you absolutely, especially with the internet, like Vanessa and I, we didn't have social media when we were your age. So we didn't have access to a lot of the choreographers that you guys have access to today. Like we had to physically go in the rooms, to go to the studios, what in LA or New York or wherever you wanted to be, to actually be seen or to meet or to even know what was trending. We didn't have YouTube. We weren't able to see what was trending. I had shows like Star Search. That was like kind of how I knew what was kind of, it's dating me, right? That's how I knew things were trending, or just me watching music videos. That's how I knew what was trending. I didn't have TikTok. I didn't have YouTube. I couldn't connect. I couldn't talk to my dance idols and major choreographers. You kids now have the access to actually communicate and have conversation and reach out. You can even hire your favorite choreographers and do private lessons virtually now. Have access to the access that you guys have today. There's no excuses. You can connect with anybody around the world at this point. And then you physically go to the places that you need to be when you can. Awesome. Great question. All right. Next up, we have Kyla. Introduce yourself and what is your question?
Hello, my name is Kyla Joyce. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Ontario, Canada, but I'm currently training in San Francisco. I'm just wondering, what is something that kind of let you stay connected to dance even when you couldn't be doing it as much? Was it a grounding factor or something you did?
It's a good question. I just think it's in my bones. And even when I was far away from dance, I actually lived in Wyoming for a period of time. I really always made an effort to find a studio and find my people. And that was really important, again, with like relationships and community. So I think for me, community is one of my superpowers. And that's a big reason why I have a studio. And in every place I've lived or in every part of my life, I've always built, sometimes it was really small, sometimes really large, but I've always built a strong community around people who are also passionate about dance. And that is always inspiring to me and kept me going, kept me like in it.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kyla. All right. Next up, we have Sophie.
Hey, Vanessa. So I'm really glad you're here today. My name's Sophie. I'm 24 years old. I just graduated college last May with an engineering degree. And recently I have decided to pursue my professional dancing career and choreography career. So you always hear the saying, everyone's timeline is different. And I've been struggling with that recently because I am a little bit older and my timeline looks quite a bit different. And so I liked the quote that you said, things happen when they're meant to happen. And so my question for you is just, what advice could you give someone like me who's in their mid-20s, just starting their career? I do plan on moving to LA in the next 6 months. So what kind of advice would you have for me?
You have so much time. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Advice, I would say that, like you're so young. You have so much time to do and experience everything. I think it's amazing that you went to college. I think a really big thing that I found out, because I went to college, I have a degree, and then I went back and went to like technical school also, is that the skills that you have from going to college, even though it's not for everyone, will really set you apart as a dancer because you have the ability to communicate at a high level and to advocate for yourself. You really learn how to advocate for yourself in school, especially in a program like you were in. And so you already have an advantage that a lot of people don't have, because a lot of people go straight down there and they don't necessarily have that backbone. And I would just say to jump into that place of coming at it from a business perspective and advocating for yourself and going in with that mindset. But you have so much time and you should absolutely enjoy it. And you can always be an engineer and be a dancer, and you can do as many things as you want to do. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do them together, because you can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Sophie, you're still a baby. You're good. But I understand, though. I understand, because there might have been peers of yours that I'm just guessing, that have graduated high school and they already have 4 years of working in the industry and a resume and those connections, and you feel like you're just getting started. So you may feel like you're a little bit behind, but I don't think you are, because you still have maintained the skill and you're coming into the industry with a maturity that an 18-year-old may not have, so that your experience actually might be more successful. Whereas the 18, 19-year-old is still trying to figure out, they're trying to grow up. They're trying to just figure out life. And you're coming into it with that maturity and that security that a lot of young dancers may not have. So you may feel like you're behind in this moment, but then once you actually get there and start working and start making those relationships, you'll find your way. You'll definitely find your way in your time. That was the one thing somebody said recently is don't get caught up looking left and looking right. Because put your blinders on, focus on the path that you're on, because it's very easy to play the comparisonitis game of where you're like, well, that person's done that and that person has this and I don't have that. And then it affects your self-esteem, your self-confidence. But knowing that you're on your path and that your path is unique and things will happen in the right time that it's supposed to happen, being comfortable with that will definitely allow you to succeed at your fullest potential. Otherwise, you're just going to eat yourself up mentally if you keep looking left and looking right to everybody else. Oh, I don't have that. I don't have this. I wish I had that. Rather than, just put your blinders back on and stay focused. Just like you had your blinders on when you're going to school for engineering, put your blinders back on for your dance journey. You put that aside. Great. You got that out of your belt. Done. Now focus on dance. Now, if you want to do engineering too, we actually have a dancer that as an alumni from this program that's also an engineer pursuing dance. So you're right. It is possible. She is doing both. Now, where you want to focus your energy, obviously that's up to you. But you're still young. You're okay.
Thank
Did you love Vanessa when a 20-some-year-old is like, I'm in my mid-20s, I'm running out of time. Oh, really?
Whoa, yeah.
You'll look back on this moment and be like, I'm still a baby. What was I talking about?
Yeah. Definitely.
You're good. And you still look young. You can still play 18. So you're good. You're good. You look young, you're fit, you got the skill set. You're just starting at a different time. That's okay. It's all good. I love that. Great question. All right. Who do we have next? Skylar.
Hi, my name is Skylar Chronister. I'm 13 years old and I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. And you own a nonprofit, correct?
I do, yes.
Like, when and why did you start it? And like, why are you passionate about it?
That's a great question that I don't get asked enough. Good. That was great. I started a nonprofit because part of the mission of my dance studio is to make dance accessible to any and everyone. And I live in a town that is 2% Black, and I am a Black person. I grew up in the town that I'm in now, and it was not always easy for my parents to pay for dance. And there wasn't, like, where I live, there was not hip hop or jazz or anything like that. And so I basically built the place that I needed when I was younger with the idea in mind that my parents couldn't always afford for me to do all the things. I was not a competition kid because my parents couldn't afford it. And there was times where I could only take one class, or I had to get a job and pay for my classes or do the free dance team at school. And so the nonprofit is a way that we raise money, not only through grant writing, I'm a grant writer, but community support and donations, private foundations, so that we can give scholarships for kids to dance completely free. Sometimes we pay for kids to go to competition, which if you compete, you know how much it is. Some kids get to compete for free. Some kids get costumes for free. But I never, ever turn anyone away for economic disparities. Everybody is supported and everybody's allowed to dance, and we always make it happen.
Wow, that's a beautiful mission. Good for you. Good for you. That's amazing. And great question, Skylar. Good listening skills. All right. Next up, we have Kiara.
Hi, Vanessa. I'm Kiara. I'm 21 years old and I live in Fort Worth, Washington. And I was just curious, what do you think helped grow your social media presence?
Yeah. So I actually just went to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gary Vee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And these kids have no idea.
VCon. Yeah. I just went to VCon and it was amazing. It was amazing. I actually saw Matt Stefanino there. I was so happy to see another dancer. But I've been following Gary Vee for a really long time, reading all the books, and I basically follow his method of posting and everything that's in his new book. And so that's really helped me. But again, I think the big thing is being authentic. And for me, that was just like putting a camera on what I do every day and putting it out to the world, and then having the ability to comment on it in this way. And that has really worked for not only me personally, but for the studio. When parents are looking for a place to take their kids, they literally get to see the classes. They get to hear the kids talk about them. They get to see the classes. They get to see the teachers. So I think for me, it was just showing what I do every day to everybody through social media and splicing it in a way where it's like exciting. But I would highly recommend Day Trading Attention and Gary Vee and all the people he's connected to and the way he runs things. I don't know if you, Menina, it sounds like you.
Yeah, no, I'm just laughing inside because I feel like I'm the only dancer in that business space, because I also have coaches and mentors in that are friends with Gary Vee and all of that. So it's just funny because the dance world, I thought, was not aware of that world. So it's cool to know that there's a couple people in the dance world, because I'm the only one. I'm in rooms with like doctors and dentists and fitness trainers and health coaches and marital coaches and all these things. And they're like, a dance mentor? They're like, that's a business?
Yeah, totally.
I'm all intrigued. Really? Oh, wow. That's cool. And I'm in my own lane, I feel like, in that world. But yeah, the kids have no idea. But indirectly, they've actually learned a lot of marketing, sales, and business through me from the stuff that I've learned and acquired. That's why we call it the business of dance, because we're trying to educate these dancers beyond just the art and the skill of dance, which is important. And it's important to be talented, but there's other aspects that are required, other life skills, and marketing and sales and business is the reality. You need to be able to create a business for yourself in this world, because to be talented, we don't want to be starving artists around here. There's too many of those. But we want to change that. Anyways, thank you so much, Kiara, for your question.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Josh.
Hi, Vanessa. I'm Josh Garcia. I'm from the Bronx in New York City. And the question that I have for you is, what key strengths or mind shifts would you recommend for someone looking to break into entrepreneurship in the dance and art space, while also ensuring long-term growth and sustainability in that career?
Okay. So there's a book called The Mindset that I actually read many years ago, and it talks about a growth mindset. And I would say that you have to be a person who is constantly willing to be uncomfortable and be comfortable being uncomfortable. As an entrepreneur, especially when you're starting out, there's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles, a lot of roadblocks. These will be like financial, they could be physical, they could be creative. And you have to be a person that is willing to see every single obstacle and every single challenge as an opportunity, not only to learn and to grow, but to overcome and find something else about yourself, find another superpower out about yourself. So I would say that is what has given me longevity in business and in dance with my physical body, but also with the actual business. It's that I don't stop when something gets hard. I look at it as an opportunity to do something better, and I'm not afraid to change, and I'm not afraid to adapt. And I think I learned that skill in dance class, because in dance, you have to adapt quickly. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable on a day-to-day basis when you're in class. And I think that has really that is what's gotten me so far. I am fine being uncomfortable, and I thrive in it. And if I'm not uncomfortable, then I don't feel like I'm growing. And if I'm not growing, then I'm not following my purpose. So I would say that is a key mindset.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely love that. And you're preaching to the choir. Literally, their very first lesson is a mindset lesson. And I use the quote, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's so true, though, because we all want growth. Everybody wants to grow. They want to grow as a dancer. They want to grow monetarily. They want to grow in personal development. But growth is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Growth comes with growing pains. Anything new, anything that stretches you, like literally or physically, is even just stretching physically. It's uncomfortable. But doing it over and over again, you stretching your mind, stretching your body, over time, it starts to get comfortable, but then you can continue to stretch and grow. But it's absolutely true, because a lot of society is scared of growth. They want growth, but they're scared of the uncomfortable feeling that comes with growth. Change is uncomfortable for people. That's part of growth. It requires you to change. Who you were 10 years ago and who you are now, I hope is not the same. When people say, oh, you've changed, I hope you've changed. Because if you're still the exact same person with the exact same mindset and the exact same habits 10 years ago, then you're not growing. So you should strive for growth. You should strive for change. You should strive for the uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, celebrate that and know that, okay, I'm out of my comfort zone right now. That's a good thing. That means I'm growing. So dancers, when you have that feeling, you're in a room, you feel uncomfortable. Now, there's a difference between compromising your integrity. That's a whole different thing. That you don't want to be in an uncomfortable situation in that regard. That's different. But as long as you are challenging yourself and you feel uncomfortable in the challenge, then celebrate that. No, that's a good thing. Even something as simple as like speaking in front of people in this room. I know some dancers are uncomfortable speaking, and just the ability to speak up and ask a question. If that feels uncomfortable, great. Celebrate that. That's good. That means you're doing something that's helping you evolve and grow. All right. Peyton, do you have a question now?
Hi, I'm Peyton Shively. I'm from Florida and I'm 11 years old. My question is, what persuaded you to start dancing?
Actually, my mom said that when I was a kid, I used to watch dance all the time, music videos and things like that. But I asked to be put in a tap dance class when I was like 3. I got into the tap dance class and it was so unusually natural to me. And I loved it. My teacher was fantastic. And I've been dancing ever since. But I did tap exclusively for about 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I really love tap. I love tap.
So you did only tap 15 years before you branched out into other genres?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a rare story.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually dancers sometimes don't introduce tap till later. But that's really cool that tap was your first love.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine a 3-year-old tapping.
Yeah. Oh my
around
God.
the house. I must have driven your parents nuts.
Yes. I was in the basement with the plywood, not in the living room, not always or outside. But yeah, it was in my blood. I think I'm a person that's, whether it's like ancestral or in my roots, like I always knew I wanted to dance. I can't imagine my life without it.
And you weren't exposed to it at an early age? Like your mom didn't take you to a show, or there was no dance around you on TV that might have inspired that, or you just had the bug. You just had the dance.
We have a very musical household. Lots of music always playing. And of course, like music videos and things like that. I remember, but that might have been when I was older. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's in your blood. It's in your blood.
Yeah.
Some people just have it, and clearly you had it. Before we wrap things up, do you have any final words that you would like to share? Thank you so much, Peyton.
Any final things to share?
Yes.
Just how important it is if you feel like you're a person that is meant to do something, whether it's dance or not. But any of these things that we feel like are like not a real job they really are things that contribute to the world being a better place. And they are equally as important as the doctors and the lawyers and the bankers out there. We really need more people bringing art and joy and light into the world and into people's lives, especially if you end up going into teaching or mentorship. And just to, even when it gets hard, to really stay at it, because it is important and it is fruitful, and there's nothing better in life than following your purpose. And a lot of times it feels so difficult and so challenging, but it is so worth it, not only for you, but for your family, if you ever have kids, for your friends, for everybody in your life, and for the world at large. So I would just say, like, all this stuff aside, challenges aside, because they will come, business has to happen. But just know that, like, the reason you're here in this group and the reason that you are in art is because that is your calling. That is what you're supposed to be doing, and to never turn your back on it. Just keep going.
Well, great words of advice. And on that note, on behalf of the Business of Dance, we send you lots of love. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your vacation time with your family to speak to us, to share your journey, your story. So inspirational. Congratulations on being on this show. I cannot wait till I can actually watch the full episode. For now, dancers, you can watch a little clip of it that's on her Instagram. And then obviously, I assume you'll probably share more as you get access to more content.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's very inspiring to see somebody still following their passions and their hearts. And it doesn't always happen when you expect it or in the timeline that you expect, but you're walking living proof that it was all still a beautiful journey. And what you've been able to accomplish for yourself, you have a family, you have children, you have a business, you have a dance clothing line, you've got a reality show, you're on a TV show. A lot of people probably would have quit a long time ago and you didn't. So the never quitting part, I think, is really says a lot about who you are. And I think is a great lesson that all these dancers can learn is that when things get hard and when things don't exactly go as life is intended or planned, don't get discouraged and know that your time will come when it's meant to be. So thank you so much again, Vanessa. It was great to connect with you. And what's the best way to find you?
Instagram, Vanessa Fuller Dance. Everything's Vanessa Fuller Dance. TikTok, email, vanessafullerDance@gmail.com. And then dance studio is Xcape Dance Academy, both on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook. You can find me there. And I'm really good about responding to people too. So if you have any other questions or you want to get into dance teaching or anything like that, you have questions about studio stuff, I'm here.
Amazing. And I love the continuity with your handle, dancers. Who tells you the same thing?
So important. Everything is just easy.
In a situation like this, can you imagine be like, so on TikTok, I'm Vanessa.Fuller5678. On Instagram, I'm Vanessa F5101112. My email is Fuller.V.
Yeah.
It's seriously that if there's any tips there, dancers, even though you're not a student of business of dance, you're practicing a lot of what we teach around here. Having that consistency in your handle and your marketing makes it a lot easier for people to find you. So I just love that you said that. And I was like, oh, dancers, I hope you're paying attention.
Yes. Continuity and consistency all across.
More branding. Absolutely. All right. Awesome job, everyone. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Bye, everyone.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.